Back for more. Welcome to part two. 45s this time around that are not in picture sleeves. These are in plain sleeves or company sleeves. And the first one I want to show you is one that showed up in a box of records this summer. This is Perry Como. It's Only a Paper Moon, a hit for him in 1951, and as near as I can tell, this is the original pressing, which would make this one of the oldest 45s that I own. RCA introduced the 45 RPM record format back in 1949, so this was just a couple of years down the road from that. I may have one that is older, and that is a song by K-Star called Honey, which was originally a hit for her in 1946 and re-released on a 45 on Regent Records. Exactly what year that came out, I don't know. So that may be slightly older. It might be 1950 or so. The Outlaws, Ghost Riders in the Sky. Their attempt at another hit. The Outlaws were a country band, country rock, southern rock is actually what we call it. And they are best known for a song called Greengrass and High Tides, which runs about, I'd say 12 minutes. I play that on the air at the radio station I work at when we do our Southern Rock specials on Friday. Southern Fried Friday, yes sir, that's what we call it. Okay, this is the follow-up hit to the song Escape, the Pina Colada song from Rupert Holmes, who was a songwriter in the 70s who had mild success with a couple of hits. This is Him from 1980. Fantastic record, and the backside is Get Out of Yourself, which is another really good song. Now, this is one that this is my third copy that I have gotten of this, but the first one that I have that has come on beautiful vinyl instead of polystyrene. And so I definitely will be keeping it. Lindsey Buckingham from the band Fleetwood Mac with his solo hit Trouble. 81, 82, somewhere around in there. Big record. Another one to add to the collection, it's just a polystyrene pressing of Come On Eileen on Mercury Records by Dexy's Midnight Runners. I actually already have a copy of this, but the one that I have is pressed on Quiex vinyl. Quiex 2 to be precise, which in the 80s, I think Mercury was experimenting with that for singles. Because I also have Tears for Fears pressed on Quiex and not crappy styrene. Oh, this was a big find for me. I can't remember this guy's story. He should have been a really big star. So I don't know what happened with him. I think there was some tragedy. Something happened. I don't know what it was. You want to tell me in the comments, go right ahead. I just haven't looked it up yet because I had forgotten about this dude's music completely until I got this record and went, oh my God, that's a good song. Jim Photoglow, and the song is We Were Meant to Be Lovers. Great stuff. Early 80s. Speaking of which, one of the last things that Harry Chapin did before he was killed in that tragic car accident was record a sequel to his 1971 hit Taxi. This one runs about as long too. It's 6 minutes and 25 seconds, and it's kind of... He took Taxi. This is what he did with this song. He took Taxi, and then he tried to make it politically correct. It's what it is. It's like, why did you bother, you know? You know, that he cleaned up his act and he wasn't doing drugs and she got her stuff together and they figured everything out. And it was like la-dee-da, fairy tale. No, never mind. Paula Abdul, Blowing Kisses in the Wind. Mild hit for her in the late 80s. But it's perfect. In perfect condition. Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. Robert Palmer there. What a great tune. That was his breakthrough hit in the 1979. In the mid-60s, Neil Diamond had a hit with a song called Red, Red Wine. It was a mild hit. It came and went. It's not a song that he did in concerts. It was just a record that he made. And in the 1980s, UB40 came along, which was a reggae band from Britain, and redid it. And Neil Diamond, there's a story about how he heard this on the radio, and it blew his mind, man. He thought it was so cool. Great song. I played this for my son. I just got this yesterday, and I played this for my son. I said, come here, I want you to hear this. And I guess maybe he just isn't a reggae fan. He's 16, boy. He was like, what is that, Dad? I said, it's music, man. Weird Al Yankovic, Eat It. The parody of the song Beat It by Michael Jackson, right? I actually saw this guy play. Of course, he's getting a lot of attention now because they made a movie about him and stuff. I saw him play at the Boathouse in Norfolk, Virginia, probably 1985. Put on one hell of a show. That's from an album called Dare to Be Stupid, by the way. I had the record. I had the album. All right, let me make sure I get this correct. Buckner and Garcia doing a little Pac-Man fever action. Now, what's interesting about this particular single is that it is intended for a jukebox. I think this actually spent some time in a jukebox, and it came with this insert right here. Is that cool or what? Unfortunately, this record, it's a little messed up, but it's still a cool thing to have. Even if it is just a jukebox stock record, somebody's out there going, well, I got the picture sleeve. I like jukebox stock 45s and radio reissues and stuff like that. It's cool to me. All right. Nina, 99 Red Balloons, which was a hit in the United States. And this is the English version. Nina, of course, was a band from Germany that didn't speak any English. We didn't know it was a band. We thought it was a person. We thought the person singing, her name was Nina, because Nina is a name in the United States, and we all thought that was whatever, you know. So this was kind of a mystery band when they first came along. Their one and only hit here, by the way. Now, this is the English version on this side, which is what I remember hearing on the radio. But then all of these 80s compilation CDs, they went and got this version, which is the German version. And she sings in German on here. I have no idea what she's saying. None. Some of the things she says on there sounds like dirty words. We used to laugh at that version. Oh, more new wave stuff here. This is Soft Cell, Tainted Love, which was a remake of a song that was originally a hit in the 60s. And the lady's name who had the hit with it back then, her name escapes me now. But you could tell me in the comments if you know. Soft Cell, Tainted Love. Let's see, what have I got here? Robbie Dupree, Hot Rod Hearts from 1982. This was a follow-up to Steal Away. Remember the song Steal Away? When I did my video about telling the difference between polystyrene and vinyl 45s, I used Steal Away because I have a vinyl version and a polystyrene pressing. So that was the record I used. This is the follow-up hit. Very happy to see this come into box. Love it when stuff shows up into box. Here's a big hit record. Titles. Vangelis, Chariots of Fire theme. They wanted to release this as a single. People were asking for the record, and it was just called Titles. And so they thought that people wouldn't be able to figure out what that was, so they put Chariots of Fire theme on the record. This is a big radio hit, an instrumental that did quite well on the charts, which they're unusual for sure. From a relatively big movie as well. Here's a band that I don't know a great deal about. I remember they had a song called Lunatic Fringe, which was on rock radio. And a local disc jockey I grew up listening to had an overnight, middle of the night show where she played music on a theme. It'd be all songs about girls or guitars or something like that. And they called it the Lunatic Fringe Hour. This is another single from that band. Liz Gillette, where are you? We called her Aunt Liz. I bet she didn't know that. She was well known in my circle of friends. Joey Scarborough, When She Dances. Now this song is the follow-up to the Greatest American Hero theme, which was a TV show in the U.S. And the name of the song was Believe It or Not. And this was I don't know how this did on the charts. I don't think it did well, but it's a pretty good song. And I have the, this is a nice, I like to have the follow-ups, even if it's, there's really no such thing as a one-hit wonder, folks. All one-hit wonders have a follow-up. The record company will immediately try and figure out something to put out to capitalize on the success of the original record. And I always like to have those because sometimes they just didn't do anything. So this is Girls from the Dwight Twilley Band. You might remember this from the mid-'80s. They actually had a big hit in the mid-'70s called I'm on Fire. So they're a two-hit wonder separated by 10 years. And that was a band from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Dwight Twilley Band. And the last one in this stack that I thought you guys might find slightly interesting to take a look at, but I bet you don't really care, and I'm wondering why you even watch this video. But thank you for being here anyway. I mean, this is like no effort content. All I have to do is not bump the camera. Sammy Hagar, when he was still attempting a solo career, Your Love Is Driving Me Crazy from the album 3 Lock Box. And Sammy got a lot of play on rock radio. Like we had in the U.S. back in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s, we had radio stations that played quote-unquote rock. It was album-oriented rock. It was an entirely different thing from like top 40 radio. And Sammy was big on that format, but not necessarily on top 40 until he joined Van Halen, and then it became Van Hagar. And that's another thing that we can just sit and argue about for hours, which was better. You know, the original with David Lee Roth or whatever. Thank you for watching these videos, gang. Some people really like these things. Your comments and suggestions are always welcome. And I'm probably going to hold off on getting some new stuff till after the first of the year because it's fall, it's back to school, it's holidays. Everybody in my family has birthdays, and the Christmas is coming up and all that stuff, so I don't have no money to waste on records. Sorry. Talk to you again soon. Bye.